That's probably a spoil pile that's come out of a mine shaft. So there's some good evidence there of the quartz carrying veins and other materials. You can see this is the sort of situation where this little GoFind 22 comes into its own, how it's super portable.
Battling jacks, driving on the tracks, so much more. Come along with all things outdoors.
G'day folks, welcome back to another episode of All Things Outdoors. Well, unfortunately we're back in Victoria after our month-long trip up to Queensland to escape the winter, and I was hoping that by the time we got back from our trip that it'd be starting to warm up here in Victoria. Unfortunately, it's still quite cool down here. Not too bad though today, but while we've still got some time off, I'm going to make use of it, and today I'm going to head out the bush and go and do some metal detecting to hopefully find some gold. You may have seen in a few previous videos I've used my new GoFind 22 portable metal detector to go looking for aircraft parts, and I've also used it to find some gold coins on the beach up north in Queensland. Well, today we're actually going to use it to try and find some gold. Now I know of a few locations up in the hills up here where there's some old mines up there, as well as a bit further down the road here there is a really big site where there was a lot of mining activity back in the 1800s, and we're going to go have a look through there. I'm not a geologist or anything like that, so I'm a bit of a beginner, but I do have some tools to perhaps help me find some places where there may be gold, and especially after the last couple of months of rain may have washed a lot of gold material down in those creeks, so we may be able to find some fresh deposits of gold in those creek beds. But without further ado, let's get up the bush and try and find these gold mines. So the first spot I'm going to today is a potential mine site that I've noticed, because I've come up this road quite a few times to go and get firewood, and if I looked over the side there was a massive big spoil pile down the side of the hill which I'm going to go and try and check out. Haven't been up this way for a couple of years, so it might take a bit to locate it, but we'll do our best. I think I've just located the site that I was looking for. I only just saw it as I was driving past and to back up, but see that big mound down there that looks kind of unnatural, and there's a bit of a gap through the rock down there. That's probably a spoil pile that's come out of a mine shaft, so there's probably a horizontal shaft that goes into the mountain this way. So I'm just going to go and climb down there and just have a bit of a poke around. Now, disclaimer, mine shafts should be taken seriously, and you've got to watch your step when you're going around these areas. So I'm not going to get too crazy here, but I'm just going to go down, poke around, have a look, and see if it's worthwhile taking the metal detector down there. It's quite steep, so let's go and have a look. Okay, I can actually see the remnants of an old road that comes through here. You can see it side cut into the hill, and there it goes off down in the distance, quite steep there. But see this rock in here, that's obviously been stacked by someone at some stage, so I dare say that the shaft's up there or in here somewhere, and it's collapsed in on itself. But what I'm standing on here is this massive spoil pile that's come out of the hill there, and they've obviously pulled all this out while they're mining, and it's just stayed here ever since. So they were looking for like deposits of quartz, so there's quartz there. They've obviously found evidence of some sort of vein that's gone into the hill which they've been chasing, and quartz is one of the indicators of that. There's quite a bit of it around here. Doesn't necessarily mean that there's gold there, but lots and lots of quartz. May even be worthwhile just running the metal detector over the spoil pile here just quickly, but the terrain just doesn't support using the metal detector here. Actually looks like someone's been up here, and you can see there's a bit of a depression there at the top. Someone's run their metal detector over there, or dug a little bit out maybe, and found some deposits there. So yeah, there may not be much left here, and you know, being in close proximity to the road as well, fairly easy to access, so may have already been picked over. Alright, we've got the GoFind 22 all set up. Now, as with my other hunts for coins and for aircraft parts, I'm going to turn the iron setting off because this place will be full of nails and bullets, and well, bullets aren't iron, but nails and remnants of that gold mining era. So that way we're just running with like precious metals and non-ferrous metals. So let's give that a sweep and see how it goes. So there's some good evidence there of the quartz carrying veins and other materials. I think that yellow stuff in there is called pyrite, but you can see how nicely it runs in veins through the piece of quartz. Very interesting. I think I'm going to call it on this spot. It's just way too steep in here, and it's probably just been picked over anyway. These entry-level metal detectors are good on, you know, flat, unconfused ground, but this area is just too cumbersome to work in. So I'm going to head to the second location now, where there's been a lot of mining activity, and hopefully the recent rains we've had have washed a lot of gold down out of the hills into the creek bed. So we'll go and check those out. Okay, I'm back in an area that I know fairly well, that I've been here countless times before, and I know that there was a lot of mining activity here back in the 1800s. I mean, just not 20 metres from the car, there's already 3 mine shafts here, and you can see the way the ground sits. It's very lumpy for a little gully that we're in now, and I'll show you a bit up here a bit further. There's a lot of remnants of mining activity up there. So this little trench here is one of the remnants that I wanted to show you guys. So I know that this trench runs all the way around this ridge line and up the other side there, and it runs way up this gully here, and up the gully this way a little bit there is the remnants of a little dam up there. So what this trench does is it captures all of the runoff off this entire ridge and directs it down into that dam up there, which they obviously would have used for water in the drier months, so they could live here and have drinking water and that sort of thing. They may have even used the water up there for hydraulic gold mining as well, but you can see this is the sort of situation where this little GoFind 22 comes into its own, how it's super portable. You can strap it to the side of your backpack and hike in to where you need to use it, rather than carrying a big full-size machine. Granted, they may be a bit more sensitive, but for an amateur like me, this little unit works really well. You can see there's an old, very, very old side cut road cut into the hill here, which would have led up to more of the mining leases that were further up the gully. Then a nice little gravel bank that's in the creek here. So it's in a nice little eddy current where you would expect for sediment and things to gather as the water is carrying it down the creek. Decided while I'm here, I might just take a couple of scoops of gravel out of this gravel bar here and run the metal detector over it and see how that goes. Well, those couple of scoops didn't yield anything, so I'm going to have to come back to this location with my waterproof Minelab detector that I can borrow from Dad. But I've got one more technique that I want to try that Dad taught me, and it's a bit of an unconventional one, so let's go and do that. Okay, the last spot I'm going to try is up this fairly freshly graded track up here, and this is a technique that my dad taught me. If you can find areas where gold's been produced in the past, what you want to do is find a track like this, and then where the grader has pushed all the spoil off to the side, just go along running the metal detector over that, because it'll take like the top soil off and push it all into a nice convenient pile for you to just walk along and scan all along there. So that's what I'm going to try now. So just a little bit of a disclaimer, I am an amateur metal detector. I've had good success finding aircraft parts, I've had success finding coins and things on the beach, but when we get into an environment like this, where you've got to know a fair bit about geology to be able to find gold, that's where I sort of come up a bit short, but I'm endeavouring to learn more about it so that I can pinpoint gold better in these sorts of areas. But anyway, we might call it quits on that one there. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and look out for more adventures from all things outdoors. Thanks, guys. See you later.